So today it's time to plant an apple tree. I have this apple orchard that has 7 trees in it. It was 8, and I'm going to plant another apple tree today to fill in the gap. By the time they all mature properly, the trees won't look too different in size. So today we're planting an apple tree, and this is a how-to video on the very basics of planting a fruit tree. First part of planting any fruit tree is the obvious part of digging a hole. All the fruit tree producers always recommend that when you plant a fruit tree that you dig a hole which is at least twice the diameter of the root ball of the tree and twice as deep. So that's what we'll be doing next. So the hole is dug, as I mentioned, about twice the size of the root ball, both in diameter and depth. So all the soil that you see sitting in the hole here is all loosened up so that there's plenty of room for the new roots of the tree to expand out as the tree grows. You see the chickens have come to help. They're looking for all the worms that I've just dug up in this hole. And there are plenty of worms in this soil. That's a good sign. So now I have the apple tree here. Its variety is named Anna, which is one which is generally suitable for lots of different climates, including here in Michigan. And what I'll be doing is taking this out of its pot and gently teasing the roots out of the root ball. Most of the nursery pots are usually too small and the trees can get root bound. So it's important to gently tease out the roots from the edge of the root ball before planting. So here's what I mean by being root bound. You can see all the roots have been hard up against the wall of the pot. So I just like to gently pull the roots away from the edge of the root ball, not too hard so they don't get broken. Just loosen them up. You can see all the newer white shoots or roots. Just gently tease them away so that they don't become circular in their growth pattern and then can expand out into the rest of the hole. So you can see what I'm doing here, just gently lifting these out from the edge. So now you can see I have this placed in the hole. The hole is just a little bit deep, so I'm going to lift this up and then just push some of the dirt gently underneath so that the soil level of what was the pot will be the same as the soil level in the surrounding ground. And now you can see I've got that in place. It's now simply a matter of putting the dirt back in around the hole. I like to try to remove as much of the grass and weeds, and in this case I've got mint growing in this area as well, so pull those out so that there's not a lot of competition for the new tree as it grows. And you can see here the chickens really like the apple leaves, so I'm going to have to exclude them from this area, otherwise this tree's not going to have much leaf left. Now I have all of the dirt in the hole. I'm just going to level it out. The main thing here is just to not have the soil up above the original soil level for the tree itself. You can see right here, about this location here, is where the graft is. So if you cover that graft up, what can happen is that new roots will come out of the rootstock and sometimes out of the trunk of the top stalk or scion, and that can just mean problems of not getting good top development of the tree. So it's always good to leave that graft uncovered. That's the most important point for putting the soil back in the hole, is just keep the graft uncovered. And so now there is the finished planting of the apple tree. There's in my mind, no real point to do too much special with the orientation of the trunk, as long as it's mostly straight up. As you can see with these other older trees, they pretty much just grow randomly where they want to, including this one here where the original top stock died back and then a side shoot came out and grew back up again. So with apples, the main thing is to ensure they have full sun, and they will have then plenty of opportunity to get their leaf exposed to sunlight, which is what's important for growing good apples. So the last thing that I like to do when I'm planting a fruit tree is to give it some water. And today I'm using my rainwater tank to supply my water. We've had a good amount of rain, so both of my rainwater tanks are already full, and will usually stay full all through the summer. I just use rainwater to cover the dry gaps, which are usually a couple 3-week periods in July and August. But I also use it for watering our chickens and all of the plants that are being planted in spring. So now I'm just going to add enough water. Really the main purpose of this initial watering is just to settle the soil around the root mass. Make sure that there are no air pockets, which could cause later problems with root rot. So I'm just filling up this dish around the tree with about 2-3 gallons, 2.5 gallons in this watering can. And that will be enough to settle all of the soil around it. And as with all good gardening jobs, it is not finished until cleanup is completed. I like to take the excess soil and then just make a dish around the tree, help capture the rainfall. Here in Michigan, we get a good 30 to 36 inches of rainfall each year, and it's spread out through most of the months fairly evenly. So rainfall is usually sufficient here for keeping trees irrigated. If you're in drier areas, you should make sure that the water is kept up to the tree for the first 12 to 18 months. And that is how to plant an apple tree.